Focus this morning, a massive show of strength by the Congress party, a rare one that is, which has thrown its weight behind Colgate accused former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Congress President Sonia Gandhi and top party leaders marched to the former Prime Minister's residence this morning from the Congress headquarters. It was a rare show of solidarity by a party which had left the former Prime Minister to take the Colgate blame all by himself, and he was the PM, or such was the allegation that was levelled against the party by the opposition. The march began after Sonia Gandhi called the meeting of the CWC at the AICC this morning. All MPs from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha of the Congress party were called for the meeting and were part of the 10-minute march. Congress has made it clear that any effort to tarnish Dr. Singh's image will not be tolerated.
The news of summons being served to Dr. Manmohan Singh. Dr. Manmohan Singh ji is our former Prime Minister. He is known not only in our country but throughout the world as being a person of integrity and probity. We are here to offer our unstinted support, our solidarity. We are fully, the Congress party is fully behind him. We shall fight this legally and with all our means at our command. We are sure, we are convinced that he will be vindicated.
प्रधानमंत्री डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी की पारदर्शिता, निष्पक्षता और ईमानदारी पर कोई प्रश्न नहीं उठा सकता। उनका देश और दुनिया के अंदर सम्मान है। हमें पूरा यकीन है कि जो भी तथ्य सामने हैं, हर उनका निर्णय निष्पक्ष रहा है, सही रहा है और सच्चाई सामने आएगी। जो भी चाहे अदालत हो, कांग्रेस पार्टी मजबूती से डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी के साथ है और कांग्रेस पार्टी किसी भी हालात के अंदर झुकने वाली नहीं है।
Mr. Ajay Maken, sir, what was this entire march all about?
Well, the entire Congress party, right from ordinary workers to the senior leaders, they have expressed solidarity with Dr. Manmohan Singh. And anyone who has worked with Dr. Manmohan Singh can vouch for his integrity, honesty and probity. And everyone, every congressman, every person in the country and whosoever with Dr. Manmohan Singh has worked in world, he has held many important assignments. And everyone can vouch for Dr. Manmohan Singh's integrity. So we have come here to express our solidarity with Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Thank you so much. So Spintos, that was Mr. Ajay Maken. Spintos with camera person Manish in Delhi. Ashar Khan for headlines today. So now Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia, the chief whip of the Congress party. So the entire Congress party is marching. Now you're going back to Congress office. What exactly was the reason?
Well, we've gone to express our solidarity and our commitment and our confidence with the ex-Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. And we are very confident that he will emerge unscathed with his full honesty and integrity that he has always maintained and probity in public life through this process.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Mr. Scindia speaking to us with camera person Manish in Delhi. Ashar Khan for headlines today.
Right, so reactions coming in from all the top guns of the Congress party who marched with the party president this morning from the AICC headquarters to Dr. Manmohan Singh's residence is a mark of solidarity. They're basically making a political point here, saying that the Congress is confident that Dr. Singh will be able to come out scot-free in the coal case. We're also getting in reactions from the BJP now. Let's cross live.
Thank you.
We're going to try and play out those reactions for you in just a bit. This is the big political story we are tracking. It's not every day that you see Congress President Sonia Gandhi and top leaders of the Congress marching on the streets. They did that this morning as a show of solidarity to former PM Dr. Manmohan Singh, who has been summoned by a special court as an accused in the coal scam. Let's once again go across to our deputy editor Ashar Ahmad Khan, who's getting us a sense of what's happening on the ground and what really happened. Why is it that the Congress president decided to come out and march on the streets this morning?
Well, as we can see clearly, the march is going on. It is the Congress president who's leading the march. They're moving from the Congress headquarters to the residence of former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. And as you can clearly see that she is leading the march. And what we expect is that she will speak afterwards. With camera person Manish in Delhi, Ashar Khan for Headlines Today. So.
And Ashar, of course, has also been getting us reactions from all top political leaders. On your screens are pictures of Chidambaram, Ghulam Nabi Azad, Ambika Soni. There's also Virappa Moily. Very rarely that you see so many leaders coming out. Ahmed Patel there on your screens. We're getting reactions from Union Minister Venkaiah Naidu as well. Let's cross live. All right, let's get in a word from our Deputy Editor Ashar Ahmed Khan, who's with us live now. He's been getting us responses from all the leaders who participated in that march. Ashar, you heard that statement that was issued by Venkaiah Naidu outside Parliament. Interesting, this is a time that the Congress party obviously has to come out in support, because as far as the BJP is concerned, they're saying that Dr. Manmohan Singh may not have been responsible for the coal scam, but the Congress party as a whole was responsible for what happened in UPA 1 and 2.
Well, absolutely. That's the allegation which is being made against the Congress party and the then UPA government. What they are saying is that if the Prime Minister directly was not culpable, he was certainly taking instructions from the party high command. That is one thing. But the other important point here is that it is seldom we see that the Congress get together on major issues and walk and take out a march, especially with such senior leaders. In fact, in the last couple of years, this is perhaps the first time we've seen the Congress President Sonia Gandhi take to the streets. So clearly the party rallying solidly behind Dr. Manmohan Singh. But the Congress President also categorically stated that the entire legal might of the Congress party will be used and all legal remedies and legal recourses will be taken. But apart from all that, it is a huge political statement which the Congress party is making by getting out on the streets, trying to ensure that they are behind their own.
Right, and Ashar, one cannot help but notice that all these top guns have come out when it comes to Sonia Gandhi and Dr. Manmohan Singh. Of course, it's interesting that Rahul Gandhi is missing once again.
Well, Rahul Gandhi is on a leave of absence. He's taken that permission from the Congress President. So till the time he comes back, he would not be participating in any of the events of the Congress party. In fact, last time round there was a dharna on the land acquisition bill. So Rahul Gandhi was missing there also. So apart from that, the entire might of the Congress party was out on the streets. All senior leaders, young leaders, everybody was out.
All right, Ashar, stay on with us. We're also getting reactions from other leaders. Let's once again try and connect with our consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai, who's with us on the phone line. Rajdeep, one cannot help but notice that all the top guns of the Congress party, all the big leaders who've been missing in action for the last almost 6-7 months after the BJP-led government came to power, are once again now seen rallying behind Dr. Manmohan Singh on the streets.
That's right. Sonia orders and the Congress disposes. I think this is Sonia Gandhi who's issued very firm instructions that the party must be seen to be standing behind Dr. Manmohan Singh in his hour of crisis. I think there was a perception that was going out in the last 24 hours that Dr. Singh was being isolated. He was perhaps being even made a fall guy. And I think the Congress party knows that if Dr. Singh gets tainted, legacy gets tainted, if the case results in some kind of charges being framed against Dr. Singh, then the Congress party also will find itself in the dock. And I think Sonia Gandhi has been very conscious of the fact that Dr. Singh is seen as someone who has stood by her through good times and bad, and she is now, in a sense, repaying her debt to Dr. Singh, making sure that he doesn't feel he's being isolated. Nor should that impression go. Seeing all the top Congress leaders today lining up outside Dr. Singh's house, someone who really last 7 months has been virtually in exile, in political exile, barely seen or heard.
Absolutely, Rajdeep. Thanks so much for that update, Rajdeep. Putting all these developments in perspective, explaining how it's important to note that Sonia Gandhi realizes that the Congress can only benefit right now from backing Dr. Manmohan Singh. And as Union Minister Venkaiah Naidu put it there, it's not Dr. Manmohan Singh who should alone be allowed to take the blame for the coal scam. But he said what Venkaiah Naidu had to say was that the Congress party was responsible and owes an answer to the country. We'll short into a quick break here. Back in just a bit. Do stay with us.